Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography. Each week, one of us selects an artist to bring to the panel for everyone to listen, discuss, and rank the studio albums. This week, it's Tim's pick, and he chose the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He didn't really choose them, but it's a band we have to do, so for the sake of integrity, Tim owns the slap button tonight. Okay? We'll go through each studio albums one by one, ranking them as we go. And this week, the panel is myself, Jason, Tim.
Hello.
And Bill.
They haven't fired me yet.
Our returning special guest, Ed.
Hello, hello.
And new to the show and our new Patreon member, Hannah.
Hey.
Okay, all right. This delay of only showing 4 people. Yeah, see, we need more Patreons so we can upgrade to a better Google Meet. So, we invited any and everyone to join us for the Chili Peppers. It was going to be an all-out, big-time blast. But, alas, only Ed and Hannah showed up. They the real MVPs. The rest of y'all a bunch of punk bitches. So, if you like this content, be sure to hit the thumbs up. It helps us out. Consider subscribing to follow along with us. Help us reach our goal of 690 subscribers. It's greatly appreciated. We also have a Patreon with a lot of cool perks, picking an artist we cover, and seeing some behind-the-scenes cut content too racy for TV. Now, on with the show. So, starting off, brief relationship/history with the Chili Peppers. I guess I'll go first. I've known about them since 1992-3 with Blood Sugar Sex Magic. This album is ingrained into my skull. And I've been a fan, can't say ever since. I've been on and off the Chili Peppers wagon over time. So you'll know when I'm on and when I'm off as we go along. Ed, what about you?
Yeah, so I came to know him a little bit later. I think it was probably after the One Hot Minute album came out after '95 that I started to kind of pay attention. I always noticed that everybody had the Blood Sugar Sex Magic album or record, but I never really paid attention to them. And do you guys remember, for those of you old enough, Columbia House, where you would pay $1 and they would send you 10 albums or something like that? We did. My sister did that.
Off. I only had to send a penny.
My sister was something like that. My sister did that, and one of the albums that she got was the Blood Sugar Sex Magic album. She said she don't like it, so she just gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then that's how it started. I was like, "Man, these guys are awesome." But I've seen them twice. I've seen them after Californication was released, and me and my wife just saw them last year again. And I'm a big fan, always have been, of the full band, all guys, as far as their music is concerned. I think they're unique. And they have been through the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s. They've been around a while. So it's always good to find those bands that stick around, because I know it's not easy.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah, so really, my experience with Red Hot Chili Peppers would be a lot of the radio stuff. Obviously, I was born later than everyone else here. And Californication was a pretty decent radio hit when it came out here. And that even persisted up through, the early to mid 2000s, really. And Stadium Arcadium, I'm familiar with the album, some of the songs on it. And then Blood Sugar Sex Magic, obviously a lot of that radio hits that persisted also through the ages. As for anything else personal, nothing super standing out. By no means a new band. Some new sounds and eras by the band I discovered by listening to this discography. That's for sure. Besides that, it was interesting taking a deep dive into a band I had some familiarity with, but not a whole lot.
Okay. Hannah?
Oh, all right. I'm a little on the younger side, kind of like Bill. I guess I'm kind of in between you guys. I've heard him on and off on the radio. I think probably one of the earliest songs I'd ever heard was probably from Mother's Milk, just in the '90s, being a kid on the radio. But the real album where I like started paying attention to them was my mom had bought Stadium Arcadium, and I remember unwrapping like in her car, and we're like going to pick my brother up from school or something, and listening to that album in her car. That's like my first real memory of like knowing who they were. And she was like, yeah, I like these guys. And then I liked them, so I kind of just started listening to them then, and that was in high school sometime. So that's my relationship with them, I guess. I've always liked them, but not really like been my favorite band or anything.
And Tim.
Okay, yeah. I found them during Mother's Milk era when they first started hitting MTV. So 89, 90. I was watching a lot of MTV, and like Flea shows up in the Young MC video, and they were, they were fun and just kind of started showing up everywhere. And then of course Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out, and so everybody had that album. And then ever since then, over the years, obviously I've paid attention to them every time they come out. But like Jason, I've gotten on and off the train a couple times, been burned by a couple purchases, and so they've kind of turned into a band that like maybe I'll check out the album. Yeah, but when I am on the train, I do enjoy being on the train.
Okay.
So
no disagreements here. I guess we'll just jump right into the first record.
I'll go first. I got some pretty good notes for this. Yeah, so first album, 1984. So we're approaching 40 years here next month.
You think they'll do a reissue?
I wonder what he's alluding to there.
Didn't think it aged that well.
Tell us how you feel, Tim.
So it was produced by Andy Gill, who, of course, first came into notoriety as the guitar player for Gang of Four. They're a fun band. Everybody pretty much knows the history of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Three friends from high school get together. Flea, Tony Kaye, and Hillel Slovak, and eventually they find Jack Irons on drums. And I did have a question about Jack Irons. Is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now twice? Because he was in the Chili Peppers and he was in Pearl Jam.
I guess so. I mean, yeah.
Was he on this
Because they
record,
induct
though?
all the members. They induct all the members, not just current members. So, yeah.
Well, but I don't think Pearl Jam inducted all the members, and I don't think the Chili Peppers did either.
Yeah,
I
Pearl
don't think
Jam
they
didn't.
inducted Cliff
Oh.
Martinez.
Well, Josh was in the band for the Peppers when they got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and John was also. I know Flea got on stage and thanked them, and I'm pretty sure John was inducted. I think is the whole band.
Well,
Green
of
did
course,
the
John
same
was
thing.
inducted, but
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
know.
think Jack Sherman was inducted.
I don't know.
I don't pay attention.
Maybe
to
it's
that
up to the
shit show
band.
anyway.
Anyway, it's there's some fun stuff going on with the background and the production and the formation. Jack and Hillel do leave the band. I want to shout out the band they left the Red Hot Chili Peppers for. Also featured their high school friend, our man who I bring up on the show way too often, Alan Johannes. So there's your first Queens of the Stone Age connection.
God damn. I'll go first, motherfuckers. True men don't kill coyotes. As always, I'm going to rank the opening lines of this discography on a scale of 1 to 5. The opening lines for this discography is, I'm going to ride a saber-toothed horse through the Hollywood hills. The farther west, the farther out. Yeah, that's the way I feel. I'm going to give that a solid 5 out of 5. Lyrically, it's so dumb, and it mentions California. That pretty much sums up this whole discography to a T. 5 out of 5. I knew this one from what hits. It pretty much sucks. Baby Appeal, nothing special. Production's awful. Buckle Down, kind of liked it. Had some energy. All 3 guitar notes that they played. Get Up and Jump, that was dumb. Why Don't You Love Me, weird. Kind of sounded like Newer Peppers in parts. Green Heaven, at least it's different and interesting in the context of this album. Really missing Frusciante, though. The lyrics are pretty decent, at least the meaning of the lyrics. There was still some dumb Ketis shit in there, but hey, it's their first album, so whatever. Mommy Where's Daddy? Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this shit? I like the music. Kind of had this slow jazz vibe going, but that's it. Gotta use my red flags everywhere pick on this one. Nostalgia for this one for Out in LA. It's okay. Police Helicopter, it was short and dumb and fun. I didn't mind it. You Always Sing the Same. It was over before I could even type anything. Best song on the album. And Grandpappy Duplenty ended it on an instrumental. Whatever. I guess not every band starts off on the right foot. Worst debut album we've ever done on this show? Question mark.
Hashtag first album bias.
Anti-hashtag first album bias.
All right, can I go next?
Go for it, Ed.
All right. Now, from my understanding from the biographies of the Anthony and Flea, this album, in their defense, they put it out, I think, just to get gigs. Like, it wasn't, they needed something to put music so people could listen. That's a lot of these songs got started. Also, I got on my notes here that I think I also got these from the books, that there were a ton of different musicians. They weren't all like the same drummer, I believe. So it was just kind of sporadically put together, I think. And I think the reason why they put it together just to get shows at the time. They were young. They didn't have, you needed to have actual music recorded to get shows back then. Well, I don't like this one. I just don't. Out in LA is fun. I mean, it's a fun album. Like, you can tell there's a lot of youth here and a lot of like energy, which is good. I mean, you know, the energy is good. It's just it doesn't have a concept. The songs are everywhere. The rapping just kind of feels like Sugar Hill Gang ripoff kind of. Run DMC kind of, you know, you can tell I'm not ripoff. They're influenced by that era of hip hop, and they try to mix it with the funk. They really don't know what to do here. Like, sonically is not put together very well, I think. I don't enjoy listening to it. Like, none of these songs come on playlist ever. It was fun going through. Out in LA, still, I forgot how much I liked that song. I thought it was good. Now, there's one in here. Which one is it? Hold on one second. Mommy Where's Daddy? Yeah.
Where is
I
it?
don't know. Y'all listen to it, but it's not. It's weird. Like, I don't know. But yeah, Out in LA is really one of the ones that stands out for me here. The rest of it is kind of meh.
I can jump in next if you want, now that I've got some notes.
You on the right one now? All right, let's go.
I think so. So we're going to start with True Men Don't Kill Coyotes. And, you know, I like the song. But right off the bat, it's you could tell it's cheap 80s production. And then Baby Appeal. Like, you know, it's okay. For what it was in 1984, it's pretty forward-thinking. 40 years later, it's kind of boring. Buckle Down. I like this one. The punk-funk hybrid that they're going to perfect here in the next couple albums is on full-on display on this one. Really like the guitar in the chorus. And this is one where I actually think like the 80s production helps, especially on the vocals. Get Up and Jump was an original one that was written with Hillel and Jack before you know, these other guys got in the band. Musically, it's great. The lyrics are really dumb though. Why Don't You Love Me is a Hank Williams song. Starting off the trend, or I don't know if it's a trend, but they certainly do it throughout their career. where they take covers and do it Chili Pepper style. I do really like the guitar harmonics on the breakdown and how they like doubled it with a marimba or something. That sounded really cool. The guitar solo though it sounds like they just went into the PV Mart and grabbed the first PV they could find and just plugged right into it. Green Heaven, great intro, great groove. There's some weird, like, I'm not sure if it's timing issues or phasing issues, but there's like a weird pull to it that I kind of like. Mommy Where's Daddy? I'll read my notes for this one word for word, since you guys think it's so weird. The P-Funk is strong with this one. That is literally the Let's Take It to the Stage guitar part. So yeah, it's just it's very much in the style of old school funkadelic. Yeah, who had a song called "Mommy, What's a Funkadelic?" The P-Funk's strong on that one. I'm into it. Out in LA, I thought it was a cool use of the 808, but otherwise it's kind of there. Kind of the same with Police Helicopter. It's cool, but it's kind of not. I actually liked the bonus track version a little better. You Always Sing the Same is a nice little, I don't know, it's interesting because this is 84, and in the mid 80s up and down the California coast, you've got a number of bands who are kind of doing this funk punk hybrid, including Faith No More, Primus, Mother Love Bone, Mr. Bungle, Fishbone, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And so it's kind of interesting how they were all kind of derided as not being able to sing, and they all ended up doing songs about how nobody thought they could sing. So that's kind of fun. And that does lead us into Grand Pappy Du Plenty, which it's almost cool, but yeah, it kind of loses steam. So overall, I think like the production hurts in places, but does kind of help and add some charm in others. And I think that most of the grooves are pretty cool, and there's a lot of really good ideas on here, but it gets a little repetitive. And so I'm not going to say it's their best album, but I think we've heard worse debut albums than this. Yeah, I'd have to think about it though.
All right. Well, I'd say like overall, my opinion on this album is it sounds like a demo. Like it doesn't sound like it just sounds like a bunch of kids recording in a garage on like cassette tapes and then just handing it out. And like I get that we're a bunch of kids probably recording in like a garage, so it makes sense.
That's how it was. Studio time was expensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just kind of sounded like they took what they listened to as teens and like kids growing up, and they tried to like meld that with like the hip hop of the 80s. So there's like you can hear just stuff like, I don't know, to me it just sounded like they had heard the song Walk This or Walk That This Way. Yeah. That was like my first impression. I was like, this is like they made a whole album based on that song. But I don't know. Overall, I kind of liked it. It was fun, and it was like, it sounded like kids. I did feel like it was really on brand for like the era. It was very similar to a lot of other things that you hear from that time period. And I do have to say, I really liked Green Heaven. The lyrics were a little weird, but still, California all the way. You could just tell. And as someone who lives near California my whole life, I get it. I get that like mentality. I understand it. But there was one verse in that song about a dolphin that I thought was really, really weird. And he brings up the dolphin in other songs, and it's just like, that's really weird. And then the other one was that Mommy Where's Daddy. When that song came on and I heard it, I like physically ripped my headphones off my head, was like, ugh! And then there's like saxophone in that song, like you know, like old love songs, kind of like it was so creepy. I couldn't. Ugh. So yeah, that one didn't age well. And overall, I kind of like this album, and I like that they close it out with just like the instrumental track as well. I think more bands should do that with like every album.
Shout out.
That's my take.
Shout out Colquitt. Leave us a comment down below. # saxophone solo. All right, Bill, what about you?
All right. First off, I want to start off by saying July 2nd, 1979, day the funk died. All right. Starting here with the first one, True Men Don't Kill Coyotes. I've never been a fan of the or the forced air in lyrics. Most noble one I think would be like kisses all night. It's like, okay, like I get what you're saying, like just say it. I'm like, like sing it. It's there. Do it.
Well, that was a thing in the 80s too, though, where you really couldn't.
I know, but like, then that could, I mean, that's my age showing a little bit. But they do say it later in other various ways.
Well,
and
sure.
I'll get to where it's like, hey, I'm missing the reference here. Please, someone enlighten me. Let's see here. Baby Appeal. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. But it's funky. I like the groove. I think it's got some fun lyrics going on with it. Buckle Down, simple, quieter interlude part is okay in it. Not a fan of the 2-word phrases. Chorus was kind of okay. Get Up and Jump has energy. I'm missing the pumpkin reference / innuendo. 100% in that one. It's Cat in the Hat lyrics 101 though with rhyming. Ask a 3rd grader to write it, and you probably get jumping. Why Don't You Love Me? All right. 5th grader wrote this one poetry-wise. I don't like the folk voice lyrics kind of happening with it, but the beat, the bass, and the guitar sections sound good, and that's gonna kind of continue throughout these next couple albums. Green Heaven. All right, this is a pace change lyrically. Okay. All right. Meh. Mommy, Where's Daddy? Great question. Having some blues flashbacks to Aerosmith. But holy shit, funk might be the same for me. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. Considering I'm at track 7 of album 1. Out in LA, fuck the 3rd grade rhyming. It's alright, so it happened. Police Heli. What the fuck even is this, and why do I think it's not terrible?
Man, that's like straight up LA, dude. Police helicopter.
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
up.
Yep.
You always sing the same. See above comments. What the fuck even is this, and why do I think it's not terrible? I don't know. Grandpappy Do Plenty. Instrumental. Best song on album, potentially. Kind of got some cool, haunting, funky things going on with it. But yeah. Potentially the best song on the album.
Man, 1984. What a magical year in music.
Hey, at least it wasn't 1985. That was a really magical year in music.
All right.
We're going to roll one up here in just a minute.
This is our first album, so it automatically goes to number 1. Will it stay there? Stick around and find out. Anybody else got anything to add about the last Chili Peppers or the first Chili Peppers record?
Yeah, just
It's not
that
the
we gotta keep in mind that at the times, first of all, were different. The styles were different. They were trying to find their sound still at this time, and
Yeah.
I think like it was just his first album, And like I said, I think they just needed something to get out the club so they can get gigs, and
Right.
it is what it is.
I actually, I kind of had a lot of respect for this album because it does feel like they just threw it kind of together, like you said, like just to get their name out there. And honestly, it's not terrible for for that. It's
Yeah.
it could be so much worse, and it really isn't.
Yeah. We've been doing this long enough to. I don't have first album bias. Stick around though. When we make it to the last record, the color code, we will give our color codes of our must-hears, cautions, avoids, and Nickelback Brown. So, the color code tells all. But that won't be until after Canteen Dream in like 2 weeks. So, give us a like, give us a subscribe, stick around. Freaky Styley is next. And be safe, make good decisions. Oh, your beard disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared.